Hi everyone, today I want to do some technical comparisons. So SageMaker JumpStart and versus Azure AI Foundry model catalog. Both promise the one-click model deployment here and where and one who is one make you the best for you. So there is a comparison between SageMaker JumpStart and Azure AI Foundry catalog. So let's go the architecture diagram. So side by side deployment path. Basically, you're going to AWS SageMaker JavaScript, uh, JavaScript. This is basically your left side SageMaker JavaScript. If you go to the follow the catalog deployment option, you can in segment full of life cycle control. You can control full option and catalog from catalog model, Llama, Mishra, and Falcon. You can do. Then you have deployment option. Then you can deploy dedicated compute. You can own your infrastructure on instance by scaling. Then you can do the DTC under the security endpoint. Then fine tuning path. So custom pipeline, full ownership. AWS, if you need serverless, then if you go Bedrock API and need hosted JavaScript SageMaker endpoint, you should know your what is your node. But model availability gap, cloud model are only on the AWS Bedrock, not Foundry. If you're going to the AWS AI Foundry catalog, so this is fast prototype, speed up the fast interface. So you can similar way model catalog. So model catalog is try OpenAI, then Kohiri and DeepSeek Hugging Face, and then deployment option. You can deploy on the serverless API. Manage to within 1 minute you can deploy and dedicate, or you can do the dedicated instance, dedicated compute, private network, and predictive performance if you want to control. Then you have the prompt flow, the evolution change, then use the model and Azure ML. So if you're going to control it, the Azure ML architecture feels separate for the fine tuning part. Azure AI ML, okay. So choose the Foundry. You can choose the Foundry which one. So if you go to JumpStart like AWS SageMaker, so full infrastructure ownership, you have it there, custom fine tuning and AWS native. Okay, choose Foundry. If you go Foundry and Microsoft native stack, fast deployment, Azure OpenAI dependency. Okay, the next page. Okay. Next page basically what is one actually when deploy open source model to your own SageMaker endpoint. You control your instance, scaling policy, runtime environment, and fine tuning pipeline, full infrastructure ownership, which also means the full infrastructure responsibility will take. But if you're going to Azure AI Foundry model, a unified browsing interface across thousands of models. It has Microsoft, OpenAI, Meta, Kohori, DeepSeek, Hugging Face. Pick a model, choose the serverless. You can pick the model, you can go to the serverless or you can go to the dedicated compute and deployment. Serverless run in minutes, dedicated compute adds private networking and predictable performance. So know your AWS before. So AWS split model. So you have the Bedrock for serverless foundation model API. JumpStart basically for model you hosted. So choosing the right font, save your rework. Uh, So the what is the your which one the SageMaker is has 7 product inside one name. Studio it has, pipeline have, feature store have, model SSTSA endpoint, also JavaScript canvas. New team member spend weeks mapping. which piece does what. IAM policy configure for cross service access, add to a time to every deployment. Azure Arbor does not, and fine tuning is powerful, but you manage training job infrastructure, but you need to manage your infrastructure, so S3 data pipeline, experience tracking separately, unless you have wide ML flow. So in the Azure AI Foundry, the platform basically use a model rather than a build or customs. Fine-tune depth behind prompt drop into Azure ML, a workbench layer inside Foundry that feel architecture as separate model availability. The gap is cloud model are only on AWS Bedrock, not Foundry. If your agentic architecture depends on cloud, and you are running a two cloud or interchangeable model. Mm, okay. So the honest decision, if you're going to issue, so Microsoft native enterprise, if you're going to your all the workloads is running on the Azure, so yeah, I should recommend to my Foundry catalog. So if you want to take the full responsibility and infrastructure segmented demonstrate serverless function model API on AWS without managing endpoint, Bedrock not demonstrate agentic infrastructure that depends on cloud model. If you're using cloud model, then better is AWS Bedrock. So this is the choose which one you should go. You want to go to the Jamshed. You want to go to the JumpStart infrastructure ownership, custom finding, and choose Foundry for if you don't want to manage infrastructure and anything. Foundry is if you have a less time, we have infrastructure, your all the ecosystem and work in the Azure. Better to use the Foundry. Foundry. That is the best goal for this one. Thank you so much.